Chapter 1. Glass in my hair. Names on my phone asterisk. I woke with grit in my hair and a copper taste. The scar above my brow throbbed. Willow? I called. She entered with a tray. Drink. What day is it? Wednesday. You forgot again. Try harder. My phone buzzed. 10 missed calls. 3 names. Mia. Arya. Unknown. Who's Mia? I asked. Spam. She said. Block it. Another text slid in. You promised to call before noon. Cameras at gate. Don't leave. Me hanging. Cameras? I muttered. Eat your porridge, she said, and left. I dressed slowly, hands clumsy on buttons. In the mirror I saw someone I half knew. The phone buzzed again. Cameron arrived with coffee. Head. Like a drum. Great. Let's walk. In the elevator. Mrs. D'Souza from Forby lifted her cart. Morning, Beta. No more late visitors. Late visitors. The man in the blue cap. Always at 3. Cameron's eyebrows rose. I forced a smile. Probably delivery. In the hallway, she said. Rolling out. At the cafe. Cardamom. Steam calmed me until another text blinked. Mia. Don't do this. Crew waiting. I don't like waiting. Cameron leaned in. Actress. I don't know her. Maybe you did. I called. She answered on the first ring. Finally. Gate B in 20. We'll slide past the cameras. I think. Save the honest boy act for the press. Click. Cameron whistled. Babe energy. I'm married. You're recovering. He said. Facts first. Back home. A hotel key card sat on the tray. Hotel. Cameron said. Let's go. The clerk checked the card. Welcome back, Mr. Rahim. You forgot your scarf. I don't wear scarves. He handed me a white box. Inside, silk with tiny stars, perfume, a note. You'll remember me when the cameras flash. In the room. To glasses. 1 lipstick stained. A film script. My name in blue ink beside a circled line. Honest, look here. Was I helping her rehearse? I asked. Or helping her lie? Cameron said. Back home. Willow waited by the door. Where were you? Hotel. Her face paled. Why? I found a key. You should have given it to me. I would have returned it. How do you know they'd take it? You went there after the crash. To rest. Did I go alone? Of course. She said to fast. I held up the scarf. Yours? Yes. It smells like someone else. She pressed it to her face. It's mine. My phone buzzed. Arya. Board moved to Friday. Your presence is vital. We're gray. We must look aligned. Arya. I said. Willow's fingers tightened. Delete that. I don't know her. Good. Keep it that way. Who am I to her? No one. Pure. And who am I to you? My husband. Then who leaves our hallway at 3 a.m.? The scarf slipped. Mrs. D'Souza talks too much. So does guilt. We stood, silence thick. I want truth. I said. You can't handle it yet. Try me. She looked away. Eat. Cameron cleared his throat. Honest doesn't mean blind. I know. I said. Tonight we talk. All of us. No cameras. Don't invite them. Willow said. They're already here. I replied, raising my buzzing phone. Sana texted. Stop guessing. Start recording. I asked Willow which gym she used. She said Riverside. The bill said Westline. I asked which night she stayed late. She said Monday. Mrs. D'Souza waved later. Your wife's friend came Tuesday. I didn't. Shout. I wrote Tom's. Names. Places. I set a voice memo by the fruit bowl and listened to my breath steady. A new message arrived. A photo of a gray suit. Arya. This one. Clean lines. Respectable. I typed. Who are you to me? 3 dots pulsed. Then. The woman you promised to stand beside if you still value your name. Another buzz. Mia. Call me. Or I'll call them. Unknown. See you at 3. Same door. Blue cap. I looked at Willow. She stared at the floor. I'm done being confused. I said. Please don't make a scene. I won't. I said. I'll make a plan. I wrote. I woke up honest. I will go to sleep honest. Willow whispered, "What if honesty costs everything? Then everything wasn't mine. Tonight," I said, "cafe at 8. Willow, you come. If Mia or Arya call, I'll ask them to." "You can't meet them together," she said. "I can meet the truth." A text arrived. Mia. KB. 20 minutes. Don't be late. I pocketed the phone. Cameron asked, "You sure?" "No," I said, "but I'm going anyway." We stepped into the hallway. The elevator opened. A man in a blue cap walked out, cologne. He brushed past without looking. Cameron and I exchanged a look. "Later," I said, one line at a time. The door slid shut. My reflection stared back, battered, scared, but standing. Chapter 2. The ledger of Lacey sat alone at the table that night, notebook open, pen trembling between my fingers. Santa's words kept echoing in my mind. "Stop guessing. Start recording." So I started writing, every lie, every slip, every look. The page filled with crooked lines of my handwriting. The kind you draw when your hands don't know whether to hold a pen or clench into fists. Willow came in carrying laundry. She smiled like nothing was wrong, folding my shirts into neat squares. "You shouldn't be pushing yourself so hard," she said. "Where were you yesterday?" I asked without looking up. She paused, her hands freezing mid-fold. "At the gym, like always." I lifted a receipt I had circled. "Then why does the bill say Westline when you told me Riverside?" Her lips pressed together. "Maybe they changed names. Stop digging into little things. You're not well." I pressed record on my phone under the notebook. "I trust the truth. Do you?" Her eyes flickered. "I'm your wife. Isn't that enough?" I didn't answer. I just kept writing. The next morning, Cameron showed up unannounced, coffee in one hand, donut in the other. "Detective Raheem." He grinned. "How's the case file?" I shoved the receipts toward him. "She says Riverside, but the charges are Westline. And look, same nights Mrs. D'Souza says some guy comes by at 3. Cameron whistled. "2 gems, or one lie?" "One lie," I said, circling another line. "This is my ledger of lies. Ledger of lies," he repeated, smirking. Catchy. My phone buzzed again. A text from Mia. "Don't be late. Crew is waiting. Script in room 504. Cameron leaned over my shoulder. "Room 504. Same hotel." I nodded. My chest tightened as I read the words over and over. We drove there together. The clerk smiled like he knew me. "Welcome back, Mr. Raheem. Always a pleasure." "Always." I asked. "You and Miss Mia stay often?" "She says you're her anchor. Her honest man." Anchor. Honest man. I gripped the counter to keep steady inside room 504. The curtains were drawn halfway, leaving streaks of sunlight across the bed. A script lay open, my name scribbled in blue ink beside lines circled in red. Pause here. Look honest. My handwriting, my circles, my notes. I didn't remember a single one. On the nightstand sat a lipstick-stained napkin and an empty glass of champagne. Was I helping her rehearse? I whispered, or helping her lie? Cameron muttered. When I got back home, Willow was waiting by the window, scrolling through her phone. I set the script on the table. "Who is Mia?" She looked up quickly. "Nobody. She's an actress. Famous. She calls me. Sends me texts. My handwriting is in her script." Willow's phone slipped from her hand. "You're imagining things." Am I imagining the hotel, the receipts, or the man in the blue cap at 3 in the morning? Her voice broke as she shouted, "You've been spying on me. I've been living in fog. You've been living in lies." Her eyes watered, her hands clutching her chest. "I only did it because you weren't here. You were always somewhere else. With her. With her." My throat closed. "Mia," she whispered. "The star. Don't act like you don't know." "I don't know," I said, voice shaking. "I don't remember. That night I called Sana. Everything's broken." I told her. "Good," she said calmly. "Now you can rebuild. Keep writing. Don't argue, collect." I scribbled late into the night, pages filling with names, times, Places: Monday, Riverside Gimli. Tuesday, Man in Blue Cap Truth. Hotel: Room 504. Script with my notes. Mia girlfriend. Stranger. Actress, Willow wife. Cheating every single day. My eyes burn. But I kept writing until another buzz lit up the phone. Aria. Board vote Friday. Your presence is non-negotiable, Cameron. Glanced at the message and whistled. Man, this isn't a ledger anymore. What is it then? I asked. A countdown. Later that night, Willow climbed into bed beside me. Her voice was low, trembling. If you expose me, you'll expose yourself too. I turned my phone sideways, pressed record, and whispered, then let the truth expose us both. Chapter 3. Moral High Ground. Cracking. You rehearsed the words all afternoon. I pictured myself standing tall, laying down the receipts, the scarf, the hotel key card, demanding truth. For once, I wanted to be on the moral high ground, looking down on her lies. I booked a quiet restaurant, nothing flashy, just a place where she couldn't storm away without eyes watching. When Willow arrived, she looked radiant in a soft blue dress, hair curled like she was on her way to prom. She smiled at me like nothing was broken. You remembered to make reservations, she said sweetly. I remember more than you think, I said. Her smile wavered, but before I could pull the papers from my pocket, the room exploded with camera flashes. Doors swung open and voices rose. My heart slammed against my ribs as a woman in sunglasses strode straight toward me. Mia. She peeled off the glasses with a practiced smile, slid her arm through mine, and leaned close like she belonged there. There you are, she whispered. I told you not to keep me waiting. The crowd buzzed. Phones lifted. Cameras clicked. Willow's face drained of color. What is this? She hissed. Before I could answer, another figure appeared, tall, sharp, her heels striking like hammers against marble. Aria. She walked with the poise of someone who owned the air around her. Without hesitation, she placed a folder on the table, her cold eyes cutting straight into mine. You're late, she said. We need to finalize before the board votes. Willow slammed her palm against the table. Board vote? He's my husband. Who are you? Mia laughed, silky and cruel. Husband? That's adorable. He's with me. Everyone knows it. Aria didn't flinch. Girlfriend or not, contracts speak louder. He's mine. She tapped the folder. Engaged, publicly binding, financially strategic. I couldn't breathe. I turned from one to the other, then back to Willow. She was trembling, eyes wide with fury. You swore to me. I swore. I whispered. I don't even remember. Mia leaned closer, her perfume flooding my senses. Don't do this. Don't pretend you don't know me. Aria's voice sliced through hers. Enough. We have more important matters than his amnesia. I gripped the edge of the table, knuckles white. Stop. Just stop. I don't remember any of you. I don't know if I'm a husband, a fiancé, or a boyfriend. All I know is I woke up to betrayal, and every one of you is dragging me deeper into it. The restaurant had gone silent except for the clicking of cameras. Willow's chest heaved. Mia's eyes glistened with anger, and Aria's face remained unreadable. For the first time, all three stared at me not as their possession, but as something slipping out of their grasp. I stood, pulling my arm free from Mia, pushing the folder back toward Aria, and dropping the receipts in front of Willow. If any of you want me, then prove you see me as more than a tool, more than a trophy, more than a shield. Because right now, all I see are strangers. I walked out into the night air, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might break my ribs. Behind me, their voices clashed, high and sharp, but I didn't look back. For the first time, I wasn't standing on moral high ground. I was standing on quicksand. But at least the quicksand was mine. Chapter 4. The school bell screamed night after the disaster of a dinner. I didn't sleep. My phone lit up every hour, Mia demanding answers, Aria pressing for meetings, Willow begging me to come home. By morning, my chest felt hollow. But my mind was sharper than ever. If 3 women claimed me, then I needed to face each of them. No more running, no more being pulled like a puppet. I chose Willow first. She was the one I had called wife if there was any chance of clarity. It had to start with her. She asked me to meet her at her parents' old house, the place where we'd once shared laughter after school, where she'd been the belle of every classroom, the girl everyone admired. When I arrived, she was waiting on the porch, sunlight catching her hair. She smiled, but it was fragile, stretched thin. "Do you remember this place?" she asked. I looked at the chipped paint, the rusting swing set, the window where she used to wave goodbye. "I remember shadows," I said, "not much else." Inside, the house smelled of dust and lemon polish. She led me to the kitchen table, the same one we'd once scribbled homework on. "You were my dream," she whispered, sliding into the chair opposite me. "Do you know that everyone wanted me, but I chose you?" Her words might have touched me once. Now they tasted bitter. "You chose me," I said, "and then you chose someone else, over and over." Why? Tears welled in her eyes, but her lips twisted into a smile. "Because I could. Because you were. Too honest. Too easy. I was the belle. Remember, the girl everyone envied. And you," she leaned forward, voice sharp, "you never made me feel chased. You made me feel safe. But safe is boring." My hands shook under the table. "So you cheated because I wasn't exciting enough," she shrugged. "At first, then it became habit. Every day." I thought, why not? If you didn't notice, then maybe you didn't care. Her confession punched through my ribs. "I cared," I said softly. "I still care, even now." That's the curse of being me. For a moment, silence stretched between us. Then she reached across the table and grabbed my hand. "We can fix this. Forget the star. Forget the CEO. They're just using you. I'm the one who was with you from the start. I'm the one who knows your clumsy laugh, your crooked tie, your silly dreams." I pulled my hand back slowly. "And I'm the one you betrayed every single day." Her face hardened. "If you leave me, you'll regret it. Those other women won't stay. They'll toss you aside when the cameras fade. At least I'll always be here, not as my wife." I said. Her eyes narrowed. "Then as what? Your burden, your shame. You can't erase me. Everyone in town knows we're together. You look like the villain if you walk away." I stood, chair scraping across the floor. "I'd rather be a villain in their eyes than a fool in mine." She flinched, her mask cracking. For a split second, I saw the girl she'd once been, the girl who laughed at my jokes, who scribbled my name in the corner of notebooks, who dreamed of forever. But that girl was gone, replaced by someone who valued envy more than love. As I turned to leave, she whispered, almost too quiet to hear, "You'll come back. You always come back." I stepped into the sunlight, the weight of her words heavy on my shoulders. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was too weak to walk away. But as the door closed behind me, I promised myself I wouldn't return. Not this time. Still, her final smile haunted me. It wasn't the smile of someone broken. It was the smile of someone holding a secret she hadn't revealed yet. And deep down, I knew her betrayal was only the beginning. Chapter 5. Broken pieces of me went home after leaving Willow's house. But it didn't feel like home anymore. The walls were too white, the silence too heavy, the air thick with ghosts of words I wished I could unhear. I sat on the floor, with my back against the couch, staring at the notebook on the coffee table. My so-called ledger of lies, each page was filled with scratches, dates, receipts, names, and half-truths. Looking at it made me feel sick, but not looking at it made me feel worse. I pressed record on my phone again, whispering into it, like a madman. Day 3. I don't know who I am. My wife says I was too boring to stay faithful to. My girlfriend calls me her anchor. My fiancée treats me like a business deal. Everyone wants a version of me I can't even remember being. My voice cracked. What if I was never who I thought I was? The words echoed back at me, pathetic and raw. I shut the phone off and pressed my hands into my face. For the first time since the accident, I let myself cry, not the angry kind, not the betrayed kind, just the hollow kind. The tears that fall when you realize your whole life has been nothing but smoke. A knock on the door startled me. I wiped my face quickly and opened it to find Cameron holding the bags of food. "You look like hell," he said, walking in without waiting for an invite. "I feel worse than hell." He dumped the food on the table and sat across from me to eat, then talk. I stared at the takeout boxes, but the smell made my stomach turn. She admitted it. I whispered. Willow admitted she cheated every day. Like it was nothing. Like it was my fault for being me. Cameron leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "Listen to me. You're an honest man. That's not a weakness. That's your strength. Don't let her rewrite that." I shook my head. "But what if it is weakness? Look at me." Cameron, everyone, walks over me because I don't fight back. Willow did. Mia does. Arya will. Honest doesn't protect me. Honest destroys me. He slammed his fist lightly against the table. Honest doesn't mean blind, idiot. It means you fight smart. You see clearly. You cut when you need to cut. That's the kind of honest you have to be now. His words burned into me, but they didn't soothe the ache. I pushed the food away and stood, pacing. I look in the mirror, and I don't even know who I am. Am I a husband, a fiancé, a boyfriend, or just a fool pretending to be all three? The silence hung heavy until Cameron sighed. "You're my friend. That's who you are. And I'm not going to watch you drown in other people's lies." I wanted to thank him, but the words caught in my throat. Instead, I picked up the notebook and flipped to a fresh page. My pen hovered over it. But instead of writing lies, I started writing questions. Who am I? Who did I love first? Who betrayed me first? Who still sees me as human? I wrote until the ink smeared under my sweaty palm. Each question felt heavier than the last. My chest burned, my vision blurred, and I collapsed back into the couch, notebook falling to the floor. That night, sleep came in broken pieces. I dreamed of 3 doors, one with Mia's name, one with Arya's, one with Willow's. Every time I tried to open one, it locked itself and the others slammed shut. I woke gasping, drenched in sweat, the city outside my window buzzing like it was laughing at me. In the darkness, I whispered to myself, tomorrow I stop being their fool. But the truth was, I didn't believe my own words. Not yet. I was broken into too many pieces to trust anything, not even me. Chapter 6. Strings of Revenge. Morning felt colder than it should. I brewed tea the way Sana taught me, 3 breaths. Pour slow. Don't rush your hands. Don't rush your mind. When the steam rose, I called her. "Ready?" She asked. "No." I said. "But I'm done being still." "Good. Speak softly. Trap loudly." I smiled without feeling it. "You make it sound easy." "It is," she said. "If you don't need to be loved while you do it." Cameron texted a minute later. "Car downstairs. Eat something." I grabbed the notebook, the hotel key cards, the scarf, and the recorded files tucked into a folder labeled with the truth. I remember enough. First stop was a quiet cafe near the studio. Lena was already there, sunglasses on indoors. The universal uniform of someone who manages trouble for a living. She didn't stand when I sat. "You asked for me." "Not Mia," she said. "Why?" "Because Mia spins. You fix." I slid a printed draft across the table. "My statement. I'll release it at noon if the planted stories don't stop," she skimmed. "I have no exclusive relationship with Ms. Mia. I'm stepping back to recover and won't participate in publicity." Around my accident, her mouth twitched. "You're not suing." "I'm not hungry for blood," I said. "Just air costs in this business." "Then invoice me," I said. "But pull the stories." She tapped the page. "You know you signed an image release, right? I also have recordings of your freelancer pitching a fake engagement timeline using my name." I didn't consent to that. I slid my phone over. She listened to a clipped voice memo. We'll say he proposed pre-crash. The amnesia makes it tragic pure gold. Lena exhaled, long and thin. Who gave you this? Don't worry about who. Worry about noon. Fine, she said. I'll put out a statement in our name. No engagement, no exclusivity, no further comment. And the paparazzi coordination? She hesitated. I can't control all of them. Control the ones you pay. She studied me for a beat, then nodded. You got colder, she said. That suits you? I got honest, I said, finally. I left before she could ask for more. Cameron drove in silence until I said, second stop. Shark Tank, he guessed. Shark Tank. I confirmed. Victor Hale's office was glass and steel. A view made to make anyone feel small. He didn't offer me a chair. I took one anyway. Arya Stray. He said, smirking. How can I weaponize you today? Recording, I replied, setting my phone down. If you want to speak in winks, that's your risk. He laughed. Bold. Arya keeps men like you as silent ornaments. I'm not an ornament, I said. I'm a box of matches. Careful. Boy, he said. You'll burn yourself first. Maybe, or maybe I'll light just enough. I pulled another paper from my folder. I'd like to log an ethics concern. Shadow contracts routed through a vendor Arya doesn't own, but does control. I slid a second phone forward. Meeting invite at your competitor's office. Recorded your guy, not mine. He offered to smear her if I gave him private messages. I refused. Also recorded. Victor's smile thin. You came to warn me about me. I came to make sure when you swing, you don't say my name. I lean in. You're going to go after her anyway. I won't be your weapon. I'll be your witness that I said no. He tilted his head, evaluating. You're not as soft as they said. I'm not as soft as I was. I said. What do you want? Nothing from you. I said. Just this acknowledgement by email. You approached me. I declined. And if you ever use my name without consent, I'll release the recording. He chuckled. Email sent within the hour. Make it 10 minutes. He laughed again, but it didn't reach his eyes. 10 minutes then. Outside, Cameron shook his head. You put your hand in a viper nest and came out counting fingers. They need me clean, I said. So I made myself clean. Proud of you, idiot, he said. Don't be, I said. We're not done. Mr. Patel's office smelled like paper and lemon oil. He didn't smile when I sat, but his eyes softened. You've gathered, he said. I've gathered, I echoed, placing the folder down. I want 3 things ready by tonight. A divorce filing, a cease and desist regarding unauthorized image use, and a letter requesting a formal ethics review at Arya's company. All copies to my sister. Patel steepled his fingers. You understand the optics. If this goes public, you'll be painted as vengeful. I'm not vengeful, I said. I'm done being harvested, and the actress. I don't want money, just distance. I paused. And one more document, a personal statement of boundaries, a plain language list. I'll sign it and hand it to all 3. Patel raised an eyebrow. You want to contract with yourself. I want proof that I chose peace before anyone calls this war. He nodded slowly. Drafts by 8, by 6. I said, please. He adjusted his glasses. By 6. When I stepped out, the afternoon sun hit hard. My phone buzzed. Lena's statement was live. No engagement, no romance claims, no more story plants. Another buzz. Victor's email receipt. You declined all offers to share private messages. Acknowledged. Cameron grinned. Domino 1 and 2. 3 is the divorce. I said. 4. He corrected. The meeting. I knew which meeting he meant. Arya had moved the board vote to Friday. Today was only Wednesday. But everything felt like it was already breaking. I texted Arya. Meet at your office. 4 p.m. No cameras, no staff. Just you and me. Her reply came fast. You're finally acting like a grown-up. For PM wear gray. I wore black out of spite. When I stepped into her corner office, she was already standing, 2 cups of coffee steaming on a low table. You look better in gray, she said. I look better when I'm not being managed, I replied. She didn't flinch. You brought paperwork. I brought boundaries. Same thing, different flavor. She gestured to the sofa. Sit. Convince me not to crush you. I'm not here to be crushed or to crush, I said, taking out the letter. I'm here to disengage without blood. She read the heading aloud. Personal boundaries and consent statement. You're ridiculous. Read the rest. I said. Her eyes moved. You decline to appear in photos, events, or narratives that imply engagement or romance. You decline to be named in investor decks. You decline implied endorsement of executive decisions. She glanced up. You think you can walk away clean? I know I can if you let me. And if I don't? I slid the ethics letter across next. Then I walk away aloud. She stared at me for a long, quiet moment. You learn speed, she said finally. From who? From being tired. A smile, thin and surprised, touched her mouth. I don't like you, she said. But I respect you today. I don't need either, I said. I need release. She signed the boundary letter with a quick flick. I'll honor this, she said. Not because I care. Because it's efficient. Thank you, I said, meaning it. Don't thank me, she said. Thank the board. They hate scandal. She moved to pour coffee into the sink. We were never going to work, she said, not looking at me. I remember wanting to try, I said. Before the crash. You remember wrong, she said softly. It was always math. She set the empty cups down. Go. Before I change my mind. I left without looking back. On the sidewalk, Mia was waiting near a black SUV. No cameras. No makeup. Just a hoodie and eyes that looked tired for once. Lena told me to back off, she said. I wanted to see if I could do it without being told. Thank you, I said. I'm not here to apologize, she added quickly. I'm here to say I forgot you were a person, not just a story. That's on me. It is, I said. But I'm not going to make you pay for it. She swallowed. Are you sure? I'm sure. She stepped closer. Do you remember anything about us? I remember a line in your script. I said. Look honest here. She flinched. That was cruel of me. It was work. I said. I'm retiring from that kind of work. She nodded, blinking fast. Okay, I'll go, Mia. She looked up. Be kind to the next honest person. She smiled without showing teeth. I'll try. By the time I reached home, Patel had sent the drafts. The divorce filing sat on my screen like a cold door. I signed. My hand didn't tremble. I printed 2 copies, slid one into an envelope for Willow, and placed the other in the drawer with my passport. Willow called while I was sealing it. Don't do this, she said, voice frayed. We can start over. We already started. Over, I said, after the crash. And you fill the new start with old habits. I'll change. I believe you'll try, I said. But I can't be your practice run. Silent stretch, then snapped. If you serve me, I'll tell them everything about you and Mia and Arya. You can tell them, I said. I already told myself. I hung up before I could hear her cry. I stood at the window and watched the city breathe. Cars slid through light like fish underwater. Somewhere out there were 3 versions of me: lover, fiancé, husband. None of them felt true. The only one that made sense was the man holding his own pen. Cameron texted, "How's the heart?" I wrote back, "Learning to beat on purpose." He replied, with a single word, "Good." I turned off the lights, sat at the table, and wrote a new page. Not a ledger of lies. A list of lines I wouldn't cross again. When I finished, I read them aloud. My voice sounded steadier than it had in weeks. I slid the envelope for Willow into my bag, set an alarm for morning, and whispered to the empty room, "No fire, just doors." Then I slept not well, not long, but without dreaming of being owned. Chapter 7. Their downfall begins. Morning started with a headline I didn't write. No engagement. No secret lover. Man steps back to heal. Lena's statement had gone wide. My name trended for a few hours. Then the feeds began turning away from romance toward the question of why the lie existed in the first place. I made tea and didn't read the comments. I just listened to the kettle whistle and the city hum. Mia called anyway. They're mad at me, she said without preamble. They're not mad, I replied. They're disappointed no one told them the truth. She laughed once, no shine in it. Same thing on the internet, you'll survive. I don't want to survive, she said. I want to be better. A beat of silence. I deleted the folder with our photos. Good, I said. Lena says keep my head down for a week. Try keeping your heart up, I said, and ended the call before she could turn the line into a scene. By noon, Mr. Patel texted, acknowledgement of receipt from Arya's company. Ethics review opened. I read the notice twice. No fireworks. No sirens, just a small, clean lever clicking into place. Arya called it one. You escalated, she said. I filed. I corrected. You escalated, she repeated. The board wants assurances. Give them boundaries and numbers. They want your silence. They already have it, I said. So do you? I'm not speaking to press. I'm speaking to myself. She exhaled slowly. The board will meet me at 3. Be available. For what? In case they ask for your version. My version is written, I said. It says I'm not yours. You don't have to be cruel. I'm not, I said. I'm consistent. When I hung up, the apartment felt too small, like I was breathing the same air as all the decisions I had made. I stepped into the hallway for a walk and nearly collided with a man in the blue cap. He looked up, startled, then looked down, fast, like guilt had weight. Excuse me, he muttered. Wait, I said. He hovered, eyes everywhere but mine. Do I know you? I asked. No, sir, he said too quickly. Do you know my wife is jaw-flexed? I deliver packages. And the hallway at 3 He swallowed. Sometimes people need things late. I studied his hands. No scanner, no logo. What do they need? He didn't answer. He just slipped past me and took the stairs 2 at a time. I could have chased him. I let him go. I didn't need his name anymore. I already had mine dotted too. I slipped the divorce envelope into the building's outbound box. My fingers didn't shake. The clerk stamped it with a hollow thud that echoed like a door closing far away. Willow called at 2:30. You sent it, she said. Her voice was very small. I did. You could have warned me. I did. I said, for weeks, I hate you. She whispered, I don't hate you. I said, that's the worst part. Don't do this. I'll go to your sister. I'll go to your boss. I'll go to the press. Go. I said softly. There's nothing you can sell that I haven't already paid for. She was quiet for a long time. I never thought you'd be the one to leave. I never thought you'd be the one to stay when you were already gone. I ended the call and sat with the ache until it dulled into something bearable. At 3, Arya called from the boardroom. I could hear voices, clipped and formal. You're on speaker. She said, state your relationship to me for the record. None. I said, no engagement, no partnership, no consent for my name in any investor materials. A man cleared his throat. Mr. Rahim, did Ms. Arya ever request your participation and stage personal narratives for the purpose of investor confidence? Yes, I said. Did you agree? No. Do you hold any malice toward this company? No. I said, I hold boundaries. There was a shuffling of papers. Arya's voice returned, low. Thank you. You made us connect. I didn't, Arya. I said, yes, you're good at what you do. I said, be good without me. Silence, then a click. I sat there with my phone in my lap, not triumphant, not crushed, just level. The sun slid across the floor like a patient clock. By evening, the internet had done what it always does, moved on. Mia posted a photo of a book and tea, no caption. No statement, just a quiet square of light. The comments were kinder, some weren't. She left them all up. I respected that. Willow didn't post anything. She sent a single text at dusk. Come talk to me. No scenes. I went, not because she requested, but because I needed to look her in the eyes when I said goodbye. She opened the door before I knocked. I made tea, she said, as if it could fix the geometry of a broken house. We sat at the table where we laughed as teenagers. The cup steamed between us like the small fogs. I sighed. I said, I know. I didn't do it to hurt you. I know. She said again, and her eyes shone. I just didn't think you could do it at all. I'm not who I was. I said. You never were, she whispered. I just didn't look closely. We talked in thin lines: property, papers, timing. When the logistics ended, the room emptied out with them. She stared at her hands. Do you remember the dance? She asked suddenly. Senior year. When the lights went out and you told me you'd be boring forever if it meant you could keep me safe. I smiled without humor. Sounds like me. You were perfect, she said. I was naive, I replied. She nodded. A small motion that looked like surrender. He would have forgiven me, she said. The boy you were. I'm not forgiving, I said. I'm leaving. I stood. And for a heartbeat she reached out, then pulled her hand back. Will you be happy? She asked. I'll be honest, I said. That's close. When I stepped out into the corridor, Mrs. D'Souza was watering her plant. She glanced at the envelope in my hand and then at my face. You did the hard thing, she murmured. I did the necessary thing, I said. Same thing, most days, she replied and shuffled back inside. On my way home, I passed a billboard with Mia's face on it. The new it didn't use the word love. It used the word story. I wondered if she'd chosen that on purpose. My phone buzzed once more, an email forwarded from Patel. Board minutes reflect adjustments to narrative policy. No personal relationships to be used in investor materials without explicit, written consent. No apology, no flowers, just a policy. I smiled. It was the right language for the world. At midnight, Cameron knocked and didn't wait, like always. He handed me a paper bag. Bread, he said. So you remember to eat when you're busy fixing the universe. I didn't fix anything, I said. I just stopped breaking myself. He grinned. Poetry. I'm writing that on a shirt. We sat on the floor and tore bread with our hands like kids. He chewed, studying me. How's the heart? It beats, I said. Not for the wrong reasons. Dominoes, he asked, falling. I said, quietly. He raised his piece of bread. Too quiet, too honest, I answered. And we ate in the calm that comes after storms when the air still smells like rain, and the city finally stops yelling long enough for you to hear your own name. Chapter 8. The bitter choice of the city had gone quiet after the storm. The headlines shifted to politics. The feeds chased a new scandal. And for the first time in weeks, my name wasn't trending. I thought that would bring peace. Instead, the silence pressed on me like a weight, heavier than the noise ever was. Arya called first. Her voice was calm, almost warm. Though I knew better than to believe it, come back, she said. Not as a lover, not as a husband, just as an ally. Publicly, we'll be engaged. Privately, we'll be free. You'll have protection, influence, resources. No one will touch you. I closed my eyes, leaning against the window, and in exchange, you stand beside me, she said, at board dinners, at conferences, in photographs. You don't even have to speak, just exist where I place you. I imagine it smiling at cameras, nodding at investors, playing the role of a man who'd sold his name for security. My stomach turned. I'm not a prop anymore. Arya, you could be a king, she pressed. I'd rather be a man, I whispered, and ended the call. Not long after, Mia showed up. No cameras, no makeup, just a hoodie pulled low and eyes ringed with sleeplessness. She held 2 cups of tea. I didn't bring a script, she said softly. I took the cup, letting the steam warm my hands. That's a start. I don't want to lie anymore, she said. Not to the public, not to you. I forgot that you're a person. I saw you as a co-star, and I'm sorry for that. Her voice cracked on the last word, and for a second I wanted to believe her. But apologies weren't enough. Not after weeks of manipulation, of headlines, of stolen moments that didn't belong to me. You're sincere, I said. But sincerity doesn't erase the past. She blinked quickly. So what then? Do I walk away and never see you again? Yes, I said gently. But walk away knowing I don't hate you. Just don't do this to someone else. She nodded, lips trembling, and left the tea on the table as she slipped out. When the apartment fell quiet again, Willow called. Her voice was broken, stripped of all the sharpness I'd grown used to. Let's try counseling, she whispered. Just once. We can fix this. I can fix this. I didn't answer right away. I thought of the girl she'd once been, waving at me from the classroom window, scribbling my name in notebooks. I thought of the woman she'd become, who confessed to cheating every single day as if it were weather, as if it didn't matter. We can't fix something you chose to shatter, I said finally. You're my husband, she pleaded. I said, but not anymore. There was silence on the line, then a broken sob. I let it hang before I ended the call. The night stretched long. I sat at the table with 3 cups in front of me, Arya's coffee, Mia's tea, Willow's. Silence, 3 offers, 3 doors. I could have taken any one of them. A life of power, a life of staged tenderness, a life of endless attempts to forgive. But I chose none. I chose the empty cup in front of me, mine that I picked up the pen, signed Patel's final papers, and slid them into the envelope. My hands didn't shake this time. For the first time, I felt steady. When Cameron dropped by later, he found me sitting in the dark, papers sealed and ready. So, he asked. I chose myself, I said. He grinned. About damn time. We sat in silence, the city buzzing faintly outside, the weight of choices finally lifting from my chest. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel victorious. I just felt free. And for me, that was enough. Chapter 9, the final 13th day, felt like an ending before it began. I woke to quiet and the smell of old paper. Patel's last message sat in my inbox, everything filed, everything sealed. I made tea and watched the steam rise like a slow goodbye. By noon, the city brought me the first curtain call. Mia texted, I'm at the studio. Can you come? No cameras? Please. The lot looked smaller without the lights. She stood by a stack of crates and a plain sweater, hair tied back. No manager, no fans, just Mia, shivering a little even though the sun was warm. I lost the role, she said, trying to smile. They said I need time to reset my image. I'm sorry, I said. Are you? She searched my face. Or are you relieved? I'm both, I answered. I'm sorry you're hurt. I'm relieved the story stopped using me. She nodded like she expected that. Do you think I'm a bad person? I think you're a person who forgot where the real camera should point, I said. Inside, not out. Her laugh was small and dry. I told myself I was helping you, that I was protecting you with the story. You protected the story with me, I said. She swallowed. Say you hate me. It would be easier. I said. I don't hate you. I don't want to carry that. She looked down at her hands. Then say goodbye for real. Goodbye, Mia. She blinked fast, then stepped back like the word had weight. If I ever write something true, she said, voice breaking, I'll send it, not for you to read, just so I know it exists. You don't owe me proof, I said. Just be kinder next time. She nodded. I will try. I left the lot and felt light and heavy at the same time, like a rope cut clean. The second curtain dropped in a skyscraper of glass. Arya's assistant met me at the elevator with a clipped nod. No smile. Ms. Arya will see you now. Arya stood by the window, jacket off, sleeves rolled. The boardroom behind her was empty. The long table looked like a runway after the planes had left. They cut my discretionary fund, she said without turning. Compliance will watch me for 6 months. Victor smells blood. He will come. I didn't ask for that, I said. She faced me. There were small lines at the corners of her eyes I'd never noticed. You asked for truth. Truth has a cost. She studied me for a beat. Are you happy now? No, I said. Honest now. Her mouth twitched. You're still a poet when you're trying not to be. She picked up a folder and held it out. Here. Formal notice that your name is removed from all materials. If any team uses it again, send me a copy. I'll fire them. I took it. Thank you. She leaned against the desk, arms crossed. You hurt me. I blinked. I thought you didn't, not romantically. She cut in. Don't flatter yourself. You hurt my control. She let out a breath that almost sounded like a laugh. But you were right to do it. The room hummed with the city. I asked, why did you want me in the first place? Because you were steady, she said. Investors like steadiness. I don't have that. I have fire. You could learn steady, I said. You could learn fire, she replied. And for a second we almost smiled at each other like the students who finally got the lesson the hard way. I won't be used, I said. I won't stop building, she said. We stood in the truth between those two lines. Then I tipped my head. Goodbye, Arya. Not goodbye, she said. Just no more pretending. She walked past me to the door and opened it. Go before I hire you again. I left with a folder under my arm and the sense that she would survive, but colder. Maybe that was her way. The last curtain belonged to Willow. I didn't want to go, but I went anyway. Not to reopen anything, to close it right. She answered on the second knock. Eyes red, hair a little messy. The house smelled like old tea and lemon polish again. A stack of envelopes sat on the table, bills, notices. The divorce papers returned with a stamped receipt. You got them, I said. She nodded and sat. I sat across, like we were two kids at detention. I told my mother. She said softly. She cried. Then she asked if you hit me. She laughed without humor. I told her you never even raised your voice. I wish I had, I said, when it mattered. She folded her hands. I told her I cheated. She didn't believe it. Said I'm too pretty for that. As if pretty is a shield against sin. She looked at me. Steady. I did it because I wanted attention. Because it was easy. Because you never asked where I was going. And I wanted to see if you would notice. When you didn't, I told myself, you didn't care. That was the lie I used to keep lying. I cared, I said. I didn't know how to hold you without turning myself into glue. I know, she whispered. You were warm. I wanted lightning. We were both unfair. I said, no. She replied, I was unkind. You were naive. Her jaw trembled. It isn't equal. We sat with that. It hurt. But it was clean. I won't drag your name, she said at last. I won't go to the press. I won't post. I'll tell anyone who asks that we grew apart. Thank you, I said. I don't deserve the thanks, she said, but I'll take it. She glanced toward the window where the swing set rusted slowly in the yard. Do you remember the dance? She asked again, voice small. I remember. Trying to, I said. She nodded. I thought you forgive me. You always forgave me. That was the worst part. It made me bold. It made me cruel. I'm not forgiving, I said. I'm letting go. That's worse, she said. And a tear finally fell. Forgiveness keeps you. Letting go erases you. I'm not erasing you, I said. I'm closing the book. She wiped her cheek and tried to smile. You with your books. Me with my books. I agreed. She stood, then stopped, then stepped around the table and hugged me once. It was a short, careful hug, like the people making sure they don't break. I let her go. Goodbye. Willow, I said. Goodbye, she whispered. Be boring and safe for someone who deserves it. I walked out into the afternoon light and breathed with my whole chest. The air tasted like metal and rain. On the way home, the city felt new, not because its streets had changed, but because I had. Every corner held a memory I didn't fully own, and that no longer scared me. I didn't need the whole past to walk forward. I needed my feet and a direction. When I reached my building, Mrs. D'Souza was tying a ribbon to the stem of her plant. Celebration, I asked. Just making things pretty, she said. Her old eyes searched my face. You look lighter. I put some things down. I told her. Good, she said. Hands can't hold tomorrow when they're full of yesterday. Inside, Cameron had left a note under my door. Call me if the quiet gets loud. I laughed and called him anyway. How'd it go? He asked. The curtains fell. I said, no applause. Sometimes the best endings don't clap, he said. They breathe. We didn't say much after that. We didn't need to. I made tea, sat by the window, and watched the city turn gold. For a long time, I just listened to the kettle, to the traffic, to the sound my own heart made when it wasn't trying to be someone else's soundtrack. I didn't feel like a hero. I didn't feel like a victim. I felt like a man closing a door gently so it wouldn't slam. Tomorrow, I would start living a life that didn't need an audience. Tonight, I let the final curtain rest where it fell.